several components of resilience, and these are among things that we will be discussing today, even as we wind up the last session of stress management. So, through this, I'm really hoping that we will get to learn and understand the goals and values as well as methods of fostering resilience. It's my hope also that we won't have just learned about stress management, but we will also learn how to reinforce all these coping mechanisms that we have learned. How do we use them together so that we can make our lives better? And lastly, I really hope that we will also extend the impact that we've gotten not only to you but to the community or the society at large. So, there are several things that we're going to look at. And the first thing, I'm really waiting for you guys to share in the chat box what is resilience. Is resilience tonight? Resilience ni nini? So let us engage in the chat box. Please share. What do you think? What do you feel resilience is? Thank you, Shem. You share that resilience is the capacity to withstand from difficulties. Quite right. Thank you so much. So when you're resilient, it means that difficulties are still there, but and as much as there are difficulties, you're able to navigate and move around these difficulties. So there are 15 resilient, maybe restorative practices that you can do to actually get to move around difficulties and also get to manage stress. And why do we have to learn about resilience? One thing, it will help us to build better relationships. The next thing, it will assist us to engage in a preventive skill set. The next thing is that these skills that you are learning, they are just beyond stress management as a theory and also as a current issue, because these are things that we can use to not only learn about you, but also learn on how to assist other people. And the next thing, when we get to learn about resilience and stress management, we are actually able to read by examples, because as you're engaging with people out there, maybe you tell them this is what is supposed to be done, but then are you yourself actually able to manage and maneuver around it? Then the other thing, it will assist us in promoting character development. And for them who are in psychology field or maybe counseling field, their mental health field, they also be able to learn how to handle their clients. And then lastly, we will be able to be caring and responsible and also solve problems, because with stress management, you're able to develop a skill set of problem solving skills. And Shama has also added one of the very most important things, whereby resilience will equip you with ability to adapt to stressors in the face of adversity. And thank you so much for that, Shem. So other than that, we also look beyond our immediate gratification. If you can remember, there's a time I mentioned if it was supposed to happen, it could have happened. That means at times we want things to happen, but they do not happen as we wanted them to. So this is where we are looking beyond your immediate gratification or self-gratification, so that if things don't work the way you really wanted, you actually look at it from a positive note, whereby what is it that you're learning from this particular area. And then also training other people to manage stress. You do not have to do it officially like a training, but also your colleague can share something, your friend, family members can also share something, and you'll be able to teach them a thing or two, especially now that you're looking in a generation where we're calling them the microwave generation, where they want things done there and then, and literally everything big or small is also stressing them. So this is one of the very most important aspects whereby we're looking at resilience building. So with resilience, we also learn about violence reduction. We learn about creativity and productivity. The other thing is learning to be tough or to develop a thick skin, especially when there are challenges. And then, of course, getting to adapt also in our communities. So with resilience, we learn one of the most core factors where we call self-efficacy. And this is how well can you execute or maybe some certain ideas or actions to acquire something. It's more of now that you've thought about your stress management consecutively for 5 weeks, how well can you execute or put these ideas in practice? And that is the self efficacy that we're talking about. And we look at several aspects of factors that will assist us in learning much more about resilience. And one of these is what we are calling the language of restorative practice, whereby at times we tell ourselves things that could really not be true, or maybe we do not believe in them. And maybe we can share in the chat box what is it that at times you've told yourself which wasn't really sufficient or wasn't complimenting you enough. It's more of a negative self talk that we normally do once in a while. What is that? Maybe you can share some instances or some counteractive words that we can use. Because remember, we are dealing right now with the concept of your mind, whereby at times it's us who put ourselves down. So one of the thing, it's whereby we are looking at a resilient language, whereby you're looking at yourself as a victim or maybe as a sufferer. For instance, you may say that I may not be able to manage through this thing, or maybe this thing is so huge for me, I cannot handle. You're not really assisting yourself to deal with that particular issue at the moment. Instead, you might be just giving in. But then Shamas defined for us resilience by saying it's a capacity to withstand from difficulties. And so, in the whole definition or layman's language, we might say that it's just bouncing back whenever there are challenges. So let us continue responding. Let me know that I'm not talking to myself, but instead you guys are hearing me. In case you lose me, please notify me. So maybe we can respond kidogo so that at least I know tuko sawa. We can just respond so that I know we are still good, we are still okay, and I've not lost you. Thank you, thank you. Better now. So another definition of resilience, we can say it's the ability to positively respond to adversity or crisis, especially when things are not really working quite well. Thank you, Naomi. And so when we're looking at resilience, it's not only for small things, it's also for big things, because at times we might wonder, why are we being stressed with kikitu kidogo? But then we're looking at small things, could be work, could be traffic, could be everyday challenges. There's someone who define things that should stress you to be bigger things, like maybe when you've experienced loss of a loved one and such. But then again, remember we said that people get affected by things in different ways or different manner. So let us not look at something being small for someone, because we do not know the magnitude of that particular issue to an individual. So in that particular slide or slide 13, we will see where we also have the aspect of low resilience, whereby even small setbacks, kidogo tu, you might feel it's a big thing or it takes you quite a while. And this could be really stressing, especially if this thing was very important to an individual. So there's no bigger or lesser stressor, or things can really hurt someone. But then we can look at the level of which you've really adapted to being resilient. And there's a high resilience whereby we get to see you being able to actually bounce back from difficulties. Just a minute, guys. I connect my laptop. I think it's battery low. I want to imagine that I'm now okay. Yeah, so there's the aspect of low resilience and the aspect of high resilience. But then with resilience, you're actually able to stay focused and, of course, to move on with your goals. Then again, it's important to develop resilience, not only for younger people, but also for everyone, because no matter the stage or the age that you are at life, you can always work on resilience. And we say that with growing up and adulting, there's no right or wrong time. You just have to learn wherever you are And learning never ends, actually. We are learning. I myself am working on a thing and someone else is working on something, because learning never ends. So as we look in stress management, we are looking at vision, 6 domains, where we're looking at vision and what is it that you're envisioning in developing your resilience around. It could be also, are you able to identify goals that you're working on? The next thing is composure, because whenever you're stressed up at times, you're just not there. Your feelings, emotions are all over. So it's important to develop calm breathing, learn mindfulness, be able to actually label your emotions. Know that I'm frustrated, I'm disappointed because of this and that. Now that's where the reasoning comes in, whereby you're able to reason and think, this is what could be stressing me, or this is what could be causing the stressor. The other component is tenacity, whereby in as much as things may seem as bad as they are, you are actually motivated to move forward, to, overcome these mistakes and also manage your time, most importantly. And there's collaboration, whereby if it's something that you need support or assistance with, please reach out to other individuals so that they can get to assist you. And lastly, health. That is why we are here, because we know stress can really ruin and mess up with your physical and mental health. But then as you're developing resilience, do not forget your nutrition, do not forget quality sleep, do not forget health, and also achievable goals. That is very most important. So, how is resilience really and stress management interconnected with your well being? This is because with resilience, you actually have goal and purpose. You're able to bounce back. And remember, you've said that your health is important, it is a component. And that is how it complements well being, because you're able to stick to a healthy lifestyle. You'll be more confident, you'll be more self centered, and you'll also have a sense of, wanting to work on towards your goals. So, how does resilience assist with stress management and performance or productivity? This is because whenever you're stressed, you're really bored at times, you feel like you're really overloaded at times. But then when you learn to be resilient, you actually boost your performance. And this means that also stress could be manageable, and you're actually able to move to the peak of your performance zone. So in the PPT and shared, you'll see several diagrams which will highlight that. But then again, we see whenever there's low resilience, you have distress, you've burnout, and the vice versa is true whenever there's high resilience, because you're actually able to be more comfortable and you can thrive. And we are calling this resilience stroke performance matrix. And then with the neural science of resilience, this is where we are looking at what part of your brain is involved in learning resilience, and at what time should we develop resilience, and also what helps in learning. So this is where we are seeing that your brain has several areas which will assist in learning and executing resilience. There is no right or wrong time to learn that. Every time is the right time. So it's important that we also know that you can work on it at any particular time. And there's what we are calling plasticity. Plasticity is the science of growth, whereby we learn if you keep on doing things for quite some time, your brain is actually able to perceive. So let us look at the stressor that you're facing. Maybe it's family issue, maybe a conflict. If you avoid this conflict, it will keep on being there. But then if you're able to move through it and learn from this conflict, you're actually able to easily maneuver around it next time. If maybe it's a task that you've been assigned at work and it's difficult for you, it could be stressing you, but then you learn how to do it, or rather how to go about it. Next time it's easier done. So let us adapt a positive mindset of, from this failure, from this mistake, or from this stressor, this is what I'm learning, so that next time I'm actually able to do it in a more better and different way. Yeah. And then lastly, we look at let us learn to shape our mindset and how we perceive things, whereby look at things that you're afraid of doing. In our generation, we are actually worried about being late. We are in bed, not waking up, going early at work. We are worried about being late, and actually, when we are late, we worry now that we are late. But then, how about we stop worrying and being afraid and actually start doing things and get to adapt the growth mindset. So if there are any questions, let us also use the chat whereby you can share your questions so that I get to respond to them as we move along. So with your growth mindset, this is where we're looking at a tendency to believe that you can grow and acknowledge your weakness. It's not perfect being, in humans we are prone to error. So let us acknowledge our weaknesses. Let us view these stressors of maybe these failures as an opportunity to grow. Let us understand about brain plasticity, whereby I've mentioned the science of growth. The more you do something, the more it becomes easier for you to navigate around it next time. Yeah, so far, if there are questions, kindly you can text them, or you can also WhatsApp them in the chat box, in the group, sorry. I'll of course see and respond. And then again, we are looking at rewarding actions, not your trait. Maybe you've been really trying to work on a certain thing that is stressing you and it's difficult. At least acknowledge and appreciate the fact that you have tried. And then again, being tenacious or being resilient. But then how do we measure the aspect that we are resilient enough? How do we know that it's actually working? This is where we are using the six components that we shared. But here now we look at your vision. Do you feel that your vision, do you get composed enough when things are not just working and you just stressed up? Are you able to reason and actually problem solve? Are you working on your health? And then are you tenacious enough, or are you able to bounce back? And then collaboration with other people. At times you just need a team to work around things, and you just need a team to tell you that, hey, this is working and this isn't working for you. And then with momentum indicators, we're also looking at, are you able to move forward or downward? So indicators, it's just an assurance or a show that things are actually working or they are moving forward as it's expected. So in the PPT and SHAM, there are several aspects which will guide us to one's tenacity, to one's composure, but I tend to lean much more on the aspect of reasoning, because when we're stressed, at times we are not actually able to reason. And it is at this particular time that we make a lot of mistake. So it's important to think critically and think clearly, because we may make decisions that we may regret later. So be able to think clearly, challenge your beliefs. If someone who will say, when I'm just stressed up, I really get angry, or I project my emotions to people, and you ask them, do you think you can work on these emotions? And they're like, no, in my family, everyone just gets angry. Oh no, in my family, when we're stressed up, we just mess things around. But is it true that it's everyone in your family? Is it true that you cannot unlearn this behavior? Is it true that you have to be always late for work all the time? Is it true that you can never complete your duties at a specific or given time? So challenging these beliefs and actually looking at it from a positive angle, and then preventing. Take action actually to mitigate future problems, because if you do not do anything about it, it will keep on happening. And lastly, recognizing biases. Recognize your thinking style and the blind spots that you're not actually aware. And this is where the aspect of collaboration comes in, because other people in your team will actually let you know that you're having an issue here and there, or maybe this and that isn't really working, or maybe it's not really faring on well for you as a person. So I'll hold it on to that so that I give room for questions. Suppose you have a question. Mhm. Suppose you have a question, you can just write it in the chat box and then I'll of course respond. So as you are winding up, we have learned about particularly reasoning. And then again, I look at our health, because also health is something that is very crucial when you're looking at stress management, because we're looking at your physical well-being. Let us not forget about nutrition. Let us not forget about sleep, because also when we sleep less, we are prone to being more stressed up. But when we get to sleep enough, we are actually not very impulsive. We're just okay and not overly sensitive. So it's very important to have quality sleep, not quantity, because someone might sleep for 9 hours, 10 hours, and they still wake up fatigued, especially when we are stressed up. Because this is one thing that we learn, that when we're stressed up, at times we may sleep as much as we want, but we wake up feeling fatigued. So it's important that we also get to work on, our sleeping routines. And lastly, let us also get to share whatever we've learned in these classes. And so some other exercises to build your resilience is, reframing your thoughts, visioning your goals, and also mentoring other individuals. With stress management, guys, let us also learn to practice gratitude, because maybe you've used your computer for over 10 years, and now that you have a project which is you behind time, imekwama, and you're so mad and frustrated about it, but we forget that it has served you for quite some time. Maybe you've been having issues with your friend, and we do not look at the positive things that they might have contributed in your life for years, and we focus on the negative thing that they might have said or something that they might have done and pissed you off. So let us also practice gratitude. Let us also practice humor. Let us not take everything personal. Then again, mindfulness. It's very, very important, especially with stress management. And I've also seen that Shem has added good sleep, eating healthy, exercising. It's very, very important, especially with stress management, which is very, very important. And meditation, they are core values to stress, which I really, really agree with that. And yeah, so that is the end of my presentation tonight. I still open the floor for questions, suppose there are any. Yeah, and thank you for being my audience. So we open the floor to questions in case there are any. So thank you, Ken. He's saying that great admonishment and also smiling is therapeutic, very important. And also smiling is contagious. So if you're happy, you might make other people around you happy. And then if you keep on being sad, you can also spend the same, because you make it difficult for people to approach you and to also open up in case you want to. Hi Shem.
Mambo,
Poa. Karibu.
asante.
Yeah, you may talk to us and share something.
Wow, I've enjoyed.
Thank you for joining. I appreciate.
So this the last day of stress management.
Yes, this is the last class that we had.
Oh, yeah, yet to start another one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in for it.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, you can round up and summarize for us. So that was Shem. Thank you for joining. We appreciate. So with that, guys, we'll call it a night. I really want to appreciate you for taking your time and joining us, and also being part of these trainings. We really, really appreciate. We are starting our next cohort for Ken, who has just joined us. We do 5 weeks training, and later we give in certificates. So this training is specifically on trauma, which will be starting in June 6th. Right now, we're just enrolling. So I welcome you to be part of the training. That is, if it's quite okay for you. And so we'll get to converse much more in the group so that we can figure out where your graduation will be at and at what time. Thank you, and I really wish you a good night. Kwaheri.